Hi students, today I am going to discuss the Mime concept. So Mime stands for Secured Multipurpose Internet Mail Extension. This MIME is an extension of the SMTP. So Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The SMTP is extension of the RFC. RFC is nothing but the request for comment. So in the earlier days of the internet communication, the internet stands for RFC. So that is in the form of the RFC messages, that is request for comment. Now the request for comment later it can be converted into the SMTP, that is an simple mail transfer protocol. So that is the default format of the email messages. So whatever the message user can send that message through the internet, through the email. So first that message is converted into the SMTP format. So that SMTP format can be sent to the destination and finally he can view the message. So but here some of the identification why we can implement the MIME concept. So that is multi-purpose internet mail extension. So you can observe in the SMTP have some drawbacks. So based on the drawbacks of the SMTP, the MIME can be implemented. So first we need to understand what are the drawbacks of this particular SMTP. So SMTP cannot transmit the textual file other than the including of some of the additional files. That means image file is added to the text file which is not sent. If any other file like the audio files or the video files which are added to the SMTP cannot transmit those files. And second one, the SMTP cannot transmit other than the textual file, even though the executable file cannot be sent to the a proper destination. That means SMTP cannot allows the executable file. So this is the one of the drawback in the SMTP. And the next one is the SMTP cannot transmitted the data including the national character languages. Nowadays we can use the national languages or also regional language also can be used to send the email messages. So that means we can use the Hindi, English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, like that. So we can prepare the messages other than the English. So the SMTP cannot allow those type of national languages. So which should be allows only the English language only, that is the message which can be sent. So but here one of the drawback of the SMTP cannot transmitted the national language characters. Now the next drawback of the SMTP is SMTP servers may reject mail messages over a certain size. So this is the one more important case. So whenever if the mail messages are identify the more size, the SMTP cannot allow the more size of the file. So simply it can be discarded, so that message cannot be allowed. So that is a main drawback in the SMTP. It cannot be, it can be rejected the mail messages over a certain size. And one more important concept is nothing but, so the SMTP gateways that translate between ASCII to the EBCDIC is not possible. So nowadays there are different configuration systems are identified. Now the general computer system can be maintained the BCD code, that is a binary coded decimal. So that is an ASCII character can be taken the formation. And IBM mainframes, suppose you have to be considered the IBM mainframes, that is configured by the EBCDIC format. So extended binary coded decimal interchange code. So that EBCDIC format, that means when you take the SMTP cannot transmit the ASCII character into the EBCDIC character. So that means there is no conversion process is there. So whatever the message is sent, the same message can be received by the destination. So that means here the gateways are not properly considered. What the gateways? A gateway is the protocol converter which takes one standard of protocol and which may be converted into another standard of the protocol. So that means you can able to understand here the SMTP cannot handle the a proper gateways. And one more important factor is, so SMTP cannot implement that includes a particular message should be included the padding of some text cannot be, padding of some text is not possible into the original message, or the removal of trailing is not possible, and truncating or wrapping of the messages are not possible, and deletion and addition or recording, these are not the possible. So SMTP have some drawbacks. So this is the identification. Now we go through that. MIME can handle, so it can be overcome all the drawbacks whatever we observed in the SMTP. So that's why the MIME takes place in the today's, that means in a nowadays the internet mail messages can be sent through the MIM standard only. So the MIME can be designed to process email and multimedia files. Now you can observe the SMTP cannot handle the multimedia files, and all the multimedia files can be handled by the MIME. SMTP cannot be handled. So it is relatively expensive, but even though nowadays the MIME can be preferred with the help of the multimedia files. So the MIME can be used in the industrial purpose. So it is more efficient compared to the PGP. Now we know that the PGP, in the last video we will discuss the PGP, pretty good privacy. It provides both authentication and confidential mechanism to the email. So it is more efficient compared to the PGP. So how it can be efficient? Now we are going to go through that particular MIME concept. So now it depends on the hierarchical valid certification for the key exchange. So MIME can handle the valid certification of the key hierarchical transmission that can be handled. So it provides a very easy security for transmission of the information, because of the MIME can also operated with the security pattern with the two security algorithms can handle to provide the security to the MIME, that becomes to the secured multipurpose internet mail extension, that is an SMIME. So now it contains the 1024 public keys. So that may be the conversion is taken place from any format to any other format. So which is also possible. So why the key exchange is more powerful? Because SMIME can be used the Algomol digital signature algorithm. Algomol is the process to exchange a key securely between the two users. So finally we have to be observed in the SMIME, whatever the drawbacks which are considered in the MIME, all the drawbacks can be overcome with the help of this particular MIME concept. Now we can observe some of the major concept in this particular. You can observe, so the local DNS server are taken to conversion of the gateway messages, because of here the gateway can be translated to convert any other standard to any other standard. So all the domain name server can be identified some of the category, even though they should be communicated each other with the help of the MIME concept. Now you can observe, so the basic idea behind this particular MIME is nothing but, so in the initially the TCP IP connection is required. So that is the default connection which can be maintained the connection oriented and as well as to the connectionless, and the default email standard, that is an format, is the SMTP format, where the SMTP format can be handled the default format, and after that we can use the PGP or MIME. So that means either PGP or MIME the user process can handle based on the situation. So he may be use the PGP or the MIME. This is for the user perspective. So now you can observe the three layers which can be operated. So in this particular MIME concept, that is an application and transport and the network layer. Actually these three layers are also used in the transport layer security or the SSL secured socket layer also. So what this particular MIME, how it can be handled to provide the to eliminate the drawbacks of the SMTP is nothing but, now you can observe the MIME contains the 5 header fields. 5 header fields are considered. What the 5 header fields of this particular MIME is nothing but, the first one is the MIME version, and the second one is the content type, and third one is the content type encoding, and the fourth one is the content ID, and the last one is the content description. You may be observed MIME version, the latest version can be configured or allowed to any standard of the application format. So that is the main criteria depends on the version. So because some versions may not be allowed to the previous applications. So here MIME version, the latest version is taken, it can be allows any type of applications of the internet. And content type is nothing but the body of the message can be included some of the audios, and the video converter is there. So that means the content type, which whatever the information which is not allowed by the SMTP, all the information should be allowed by the MIME. That's why the content type can be handled, both not only the text data, which can be included some audio converter or the video converter. So coming to the content type encoding, the encoding can be considered from ASCII to EBCDIC format is also possible in the MIME. Not only that, some type the message 7-bit also can be considered. It is also encoding with the help of the this particular content type encoding method. And fourth one is the content ID. Content ID in the sense it can be identified which type of category of this email content. So which is very easy to identify that particular message can be taken in a particular way. And the last one is the content description. So what the description, it can be identified that particular message whatever the user can send, that message can be incorporated with the content description or right. So the next one is the very important one is the MIME functionality. So how the MIME takes the functionality, because of it also designed the 4 types of the functionality. One is the enveloped data, and second one is the signed data, and third one is the clear signed data, and fourth one is the signed and enveloped data. So what this particular MIME functionality, based on this it can be taken to handle every type of the any type of the email messages to convert the particular standard with combinations of the audio and video. And also envelope message and the signed envelope messages are the messages which has to be taken the priority of the users. The particular users can be handled, and is the users are the valid users or not. So everything is identification of that particular enveloping is nothing but the content can be secured, okay, with the transmission of the user ID. And clear signed data is nothing but it will be verified the both user identification, whether the 2 identifications are the valid, then only it can be allowed to transmission taken. And the last one is the signed and enveloped data, which can be taken, the verification is completed, then the message can be distributed to the valid user. And finally, how the SMIME is taken, because the security can be concerned with the help of the 2 algorithms which are applied to the MIME concept. What the 2 algorithms are nothing but the first cryptographic algorithm is the must, and second cryptographic algorithm is the should. The must and should, these 2 are the algorithms which can be supported to provide the security to the MIME. So that's why, and finally it can be treated as the SMIME, Secured Multipurpose Internet Mail Extension. The security is an aspect which can be considered by the 2 algorithms. The must algorithm is an algorithm which can be taken the priorities of the user, how it can be encrypted the message with the help of the cryptography, and the should algorithm is the verified algorithm, whether that user can use the valid encryption method or not, that can be verified by the decryption process. So finally the MIME is taken nowadays because of whatever the drawbacks in the SMTP, all the drawbacks should be overcome with the help of the MIME concept. Thank you.